Hey everybody, Chris Bober here with the Bober Academy, and welcome back to our weekly edition of From Pain to Performance, where today we're going to be talking about knee pain and IT band syndrome. Of course, the Pain to Performance is brought to you by Midwest Movement there in Elkhorn. They're located right over by Rick's Meats. And they do a great job of getting athletes back onto the field. So if you're listening to this podcast, be sure to click on the subscribe button wherever you're wherever you're listening, so you get notified of new episodes. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, click the little button down below to subscribe to our channel, and then of course the notification bell so you are notified. So we are joined again today with Nolan Clausen over at Midwest Movement, and of course his buddy Blake of Elkhorn High School. And today we're going to talk about knee pain, and that relates to IT band syndrome. This is something, I looked it up a little bit when you sent me what you're doing, and I think I had this. I don't think I ever got diagnosed with it, but I'm pretty sure that I felt this kind of pain before. So tell me what we're talking about with the knee pain associated in IT band syndrome.
So IT band syndrome is like the lateral side of your leg, outside side of your leg, right? It's a very common injury amongst runners or people that are first starting into their sport for the season, because basically we went from zero running to ramping up our running. And so we get pain on that lateral side of our knee. It can wrap around to the front part of the knee. And usually it hurts a lot with going up and down stairs. First few steps when running, or it actually gets better the longer we get into running. And then it can also get worse at the very end of our runs and then kind of be painful that next day. But it is classically known as IT band syndrome or lateral knee pain. And we think it's probably one of the most common knee injuries or knee pains that we have walk into our clinic. So
nice. So if again, I'm just feeling that I know what that feels like, and you get a little warmed up, it feels better, but then of course it just wear and tear on it starts hurting it. So tell us, someone walks into your clinic or someone has pain that is in that area, what is your first thing to do for treatment?
Right. So I will kind of show on Blake. So we're going to kind of point the screen down a little bit. Blake, actually stand right here. So what we're talking about is this outside part of the knee. So classically, if he turns to the side just a little bit, move your feet. There we go. He gets pain right here. There's this band of tissue that starts from a muscle in the front of our hip and the back of our hip, comes together, creates this little band that connects and wraps to the front part of our knee. So classically, we get a lot of pain on this lateral side or in the front part of our knee. So what we'll see when people come in, they'll have pain in this area. So first we see that. Then we often see tightness in the front part of our hips. And then we always do what we call a 6-inch step down test. So we always do this with all of our patients, athletes that come into the office. So what they'll do is they will stand on this platform right here. And all he's going to do is he's going to do what we call a 6-inch step down. So he is going to try to tap his heel down in front of him. What we're watching, we're not watching the leg that's coming to tap, but we're watching this other knee. So what we're watching for is if his knee excessively caves in. Like that, right? So that's a predisposed area for ACL tears, right? But it also puts a lot of strain on that IT band. The other thing that we're watching for is his hips. So I got his hips on plane right here. You can see that they fall. And that is just a lack of control of his glute muscles working to control his hip going one way or the other, and his knee tracking straight forward. So if he does that 6-inch step down, again, he has really good control. We've worked with Blake a lot on control with his glutes. So that's what we would see in office. If we see that, if we see either one of those, then we know we need to turn and face me. We need to work the muscle that attaches on the backside of that IT band because the muscle on the front is overactive. So
it's taking it out of whack there, and it looks like you're putting your knee in a compromising position. That you said that might lead to more ACL tears. Do you think that's where a lot of ACL tears are coming from? Is some IT band and knee pain, and they overcompensate, and then boom?
Yeah, it could be. There's a lot of ACL tears that are non-contact, and what we believe is basically your muscles were so fatigued that they didn't have the control to control that knee motion, and so the only thing stopping the knee from going there was the ligaments, and so the knee tears. So this is what a really good point. If we do some of the rehab for this IT band syndrome, it also can help prevent ACL tears and other things like that. So the first thing that we would do is we were going to treat that soft tissue area where the pain is. So Blake, everybody's heard of foam rolling, right? Mm-hmm. So Blake's just going to use this, and he's going to roll out that side part of his knee. So he's going to roll right here. If anybody's ever used a foam roller before, they know how tender this area can be, right? So we don't want to beat it up too much. We just want to spend a little bit of time. He's going to kind of move his back leg a little bit. So he's going to just bend his knee and kick forward and just going back and forth, trying to just softly roll out that area, okay? So that takes care of some of the pain. It causes a little bit of pain, but should feel a good relief. Then what we're going to do, he's going to stand up. Actually, you're going to go on your side. We're going to try to get those glute muscles that we were talking about. So the back side of what attaches to the IT band, we're going to do some exercises to do those. So this is what we would call a glute side bridge. So he's going to set up, just go back to the setup. He's going to set up with his knee about 90 degrees in front of him. And then he's going to do what we would call a side bridge, but he's going to bring his hips forward a little bit. So he's not just going straight up, but he's going up and out. Wow. So he's going to sit that kind of like he was doing like a deadlift, right? And bring those hips forward. Good. Set the hips back. And Blake will tell you that his glutes are working really hard right here. Good. So that's a really complicated exercise, but it's a really, really good one to target those glutes, okay? Next one, this will hit a little bit closer to home, being alignment. So he's going to put the band around his knees. You probably have heard of these, like monster walks, but we're going to call them duck walks. So he's going to get like on the insteps, like he's blocking. So on your insteps, there you go. So his knees have to come together a little bit, but the band is trying to pull him further in. So he's got to control it. So he's going to walk forward just like that. And he's not letting this band get any looser. Good. Then he's going to go to the side. And he's going to go to this side. Blake, right now, how on fire are your glutes? There. Yes. His glutes are burning up because there's so much activation right there. So that's the last one. So all these exercises are really, really good for prevention, but they're also really good at taking care of our knees when they're in pain.
Well, the good thing is I'm looking at those exercises you're doing. It's almost like he's like playing like alignment, you know? So alignment.
Weird, right?
Yeah, I know, right? It's imagine we have that on here, but a lot of the drills we do, I love using bands when I do step footwork drills, and it does activate those glutes and those muscles. I mean, was that the piriformis muscle you're trying to kind of activate back there?
It's actually the glute medius, which the glute medius and the piriformis, they do a lot of the same work. Mm-hmm. But the glute medius is like this tiny little stepbrother of the glute maximus. Mm. Glute maximus is the good-looking muscle that everybody wants. The glute medius is the one that does all the work.
I just remember that from my 2 hip surgeries, all those muscles that are in there. Yeah. So look, sounds like great advice here. If you get knee pain on the lateral side, which is on the outside, they showed you a couple things to do. Same thing that you would do for treatment of it is very similar to the prevention. So even before you get that pain. I know linemen, a lot of times I'd like to teach them warming up with bands on. So that should help activate some of those things and all those good things. But that's awesome, man. I know that there's a lot of people out there who have that kind of knee pain. And then, of course, it leads to worse things. And as you get probably later in this football season, you think we're week 7, I think, in the football season. And you start to get those muscles that are fatigued. And you might skip a couple of your exercises because you're tired and you're sore. These are exercises you should not be skipping because you do not want to compromise your knee, right?
Absolutely. Yep. We're in the mid of the season. These are probably more important than, I hate to say it, but getting into the weight room, it's probably more important to do some of these exercises for the prevention because, like you said, we're getting to that fatigue point and we got to hit it strong before playoffs, right?
That's right. And I was always a big proponent of that and flexibility and core work, that if you just do that all season long, you can stay in great shape. So once again, thanks, Nolan. Thank you, Blake, for joining us today on this episode of Pain to Performance. And if you're looking for any kind of therapy, want to get back on the field, Nolan's trained as a chiropractor, but a movement specialist. He's right over there, right by Bricks Meats and Ace Hardware, that whole area by Elkhorn High. And he takes people from all over. If you need to find him, go look up MidwestMovementElkhorn.com. So Nolan, Blake, thanks for joining us, man. We're going to see you guys next time. Thanks for helping us out and have a great week.
Good as always. Thank you, Chris.